back to another episode. We are right in the middle of a series that I have called the Roadblocks to Physical Desire. What could potentially be some of the reasons why your wife might not want to be having sexual relations with you? If you're a guy who is in a dead bedroom, if you're a guy who's like just wants to fix his lack of desire from his wife, you might want to check out not only today's episode, but the last two. But on the last couple, it really was focusing on the guys and things that could be wrong with him. And when I say wrong, it doesn't necessarily mean wrong, like there's a problem with you specifically. It could just be like, yeah, there's something that you're doing that is turning her off. Well, some of you guys kind of got a little bit like, oh, sure, blame us again. We're always the problem. Well, today's your moment, because today we are blaming her. And I don't say blaming. I'm just trying to always tell you guys things that could be potential obstacles, and hopefully we can remove those. And you guys can all have more sex. Isn't this the goal? I hope so. So the first thing I want to discuss is birth control, specifically oral contraceptives. Do you know that the Center for Disease Controls has estimated that 65% of women are on an oral contraceptive? Because so many of these women are on oral contraceptives and they are hormones and they are going to potentially affect her desire, it's very important to discuss. And the scariest thing of all is this study that I read here, and I'm going to pull this up for you here. According to Pub Central, it says that the hormonal contraceptive use reduces naturally occurring cyclical hormone variants. Okay, so they're just saying it messes with your normal period, your normal cycle. And as a consequence, women who use hormonal contraceptives have been shown to display different mating preferences and behaviors than women who regularly cycle. Now, this is really interesting because can you imagine, guys, can you imagine a woman who chooses a husband? This whole time, maybe you've met her, right? You've met her when she was on this birth control. You guys are clicked, you got along well together. All of a sudden, you get married. And then after you get married, a couple years go by and you decide, let's have a baby. So she goes off birth control. The guy that you are hasn't changed, but her preferences have changed because the guy that she chose is different than the guy she would have chosen if she wasn't on birth control. And if that isn't scary, I don't know what is. And what can you do about that? There's nothing you can do about that. So any of you single guys listening, if you've never been around your lady without oral contraceptives, I think this is a bad gamble. I think you better find out who's this woman and what is her desires without being on these hormones, because she won't always be on them, and you don't know what her base level is. You don't know what her base desire is, the kind of guy that she's actually going to want. And if you're already married, this very well could be one of the factors of why she just doesn't find you attractive anymore. Now, another medication that greatly impacts sexual desire for women is a medication that is used to treat depression. And this class of medication is called SSRIs, and that stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So I'm just going to, for simplicity, just say depression meds, okay? So with depression meds, there are several brand names like Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac, Luvox. So how do these depression meds affect sexual desire? Well, according to harvard.edu, it says here, in addition to reducing interest in sex, SSRI medications can make it difficult to become aroused, sustain arousal, and reach orgasm. Some women taking SSRIs aren't able to have an orgasm at all. And these symptoms tend to become more common with age. It is estimated that 25% of women are on these antidepressants. First, I want to know, why are we so damn depressed? Why are women so depressed? Shouldn't us women be the happiest we've ever been? We have all the rights, we can work, we don't have to depend on a man. Why are we all so depressed? These women go to their doctors, they're like, I'm not happy. And then instead of asking, well, let's figure out the source of your unhappiness. And instead of recommending other things like therapy, trying to figure out, what exactly is the root cause of that, or suggesting more natural medicines such as exercise. When I say exercise as a medicine, is indicated here on Medical News Today in this article, medicalnewstoday.com, that physical activity is 1.5 times more effective at reducing mild to moderate symptoms of depression, psychological stress, and anxiety than medications or cognitive behavior therapy, according to the study's lead author. And a good, healthy exercise regime would work wonders for women But instead, they go to the doctor. He hands them the pill, doesn't ask anything about why you're depressed. Let's find out the root cause. And here we have these meds. You couple the birth control with this antidepressant, and you are just creating a cocktail of disaster for marriages. Did you know that the majority of the people watching this episode are not subscribed? So yes, is that you? I hope that you're subscribed. If not, go ahead and hit that button now because I don't want you to miss anything. Back to the episode. As a single guy, I wouldn't even consider proposing or asking a woman to marry me without knowing who is this woman off of these meds. Because eventually, hopefully, she'll get off of them. She's going to have to be happy with you, and you're going to have to be happy with her. You don't even know who she is. And while I'm not a doctor, and I'm not telling all you people to go off of your medicines, because that is, seek help with your doctor, I am just letting you know that the impact of these medicines to your relationship could be disastrous. Today's episode is sponsored by Cup Cozy Pillow. Have you noticed that there's hardly any drink holders on your couch and your sectionals? Like, what do you do with your drinks? Do you put them in between the couch cushions or maybe on the floor? Or maybe if you're lucky enough to have a coffee table, you might put it way over there. Well, let me tell you, it's really nice having a cup holder exactly where you want one. And that is what the Cup Cozy Pillow does. It is the easiest, most convenient way to keep your drinks close to you and safe from spills. And what's really cool, if you look below, you'll see right here on YouTube, you're able to shop right from YouTube. You don't have to go anywhere. Check out the Cup Cozy Pillow, or you can continue spilling your drinks. It's up to you. Another thing that could be impacting her desire is that she has either a short-term or a chronic medical issue. And it could be something short-term, like, even her periods. Let me tell you, these period cramps can be fierce. And you think about it, if you have a week out of a month, 7 days out of 28, that you're in really bad pain because of cramps, you're not thinking about having sex. You're thinking about, oh my gosh, how do I get out of pain? And so you might have those situations where you have the painful period, you have endometriosis. There's other chronic medical issues like PCOS, ovarian cysts, pelvic floor dysfunction, all these things that you guys don't even have to think about that are issues. And those are just the medical problems that can happen that involved the whole nether reasons. I'm not even talking about the other chronic medical issues like diabetes and heart disease and all these other things that can come into play. And then on top of the chronic and medical conditions, then you also have to factor in these seasons of life where you have, whether it's being pregnancy or a recovery after a delivery, or you might be fighting a long-term cancer, or you might have young children where just the time is just not there, or the time is there, but you are exhausted. So when you combine the medicines, when you combine the medical problems, when you combine the seasons of life, it's like a damn miracle. And it's almost as if the stars have to align where you guys can have time to be intimate, because you have to remember one thing. Guys, do you realize that sex is always pleasurable for you? 100% of the time, it's not painful. And so you're like, I don't get it. Like, sex is so great. Why doesn't my wife want to have sex? Because it's not always pleasurable for us. Even if you're not in pain, you're going to have an orgasm 90%. Here, let's see what it says here. More than 90% of men usually experience orgasm in their intercourse. Among women, this proportion is only around 50%. It's never going to be painful for you guys. It's always going to be pleasurable. But it's hit and miss for us ladies. Sometimes it's pleasurable, sometimes it's not. And then a little myth that I want to dispel is that if women don't have an orgasm, that we don't enjoy it. I personally sometimes will delay things because I'm like just super enjoying it and I want it to last longer. And so sometimes my husband will be like, why do you do that? I'm like, well, because I was really enjoying it. I wanted it to last longer. He doesn't get it. He like the end is the goal. But for me, it's not always the goal. So, I don't think that the lack of an orgasm is always that big of a deal, unless it happens like every time. Then it's a big deal. So we have medicines that are affecting our desire. We have medical conditions, whether they are acute or chronic, that are affecting our desire. We have also the seasons of life that's affecting our desire. And let me just say, mom mode is a real thing. I don't know how you guys did this. You can separate being around children with horniness. I don't know how you do it. If the kids are around, like, this is body shut down. I just can't. You guys can just be, yeah, let's go. Now, I don't know if other women are like that. I'm just telling you how I am. But mom mode is a real thing. If you want your wife in the mood, you get her away from the kids somehow. They either need to be at school, asleep, or something. But it is very, very difficult for me, in the middle of the day, just shutting the door while the kids are on the Xbox or whatever. And then let's discuss premenopause and menopause. Women are living longer than ever. We're going to spend up to half of our lives in premenopause and menopause. And so when I went into my doctor and I told her, hey, my body's not responsive, it's dry. She's like, oh, get the lube. What a horrible, horrible reaction. The doctors are not treating them seriously, and they're just like, well, that's just how life is. Well, that's not how life is. Because the fact is, hormones are not just a factor when it comes to sex, but it has a factor when it comes to depression. Maybe this is why women are so depressed. If your hormones are not in check, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel irritable. You're going to be cranky, and you're going to lose muscle mass, and you're going to be gaining weight more easily. And this just really impacts a woman's psyche. I think it's going to take a while for the medical community to catch up to properly treating women's hormones during this time of their life. And so if you're noticing that there's changes to her attitude or her behavior, and she's more grumpy, more irritable, and she either discounts you and says, no, I'm not going to do that. This is how I am. And, it's all your fault because us women aren't great with taking responsibility for our actions at all. Or she'll go to the doctor, and her doctor will give her the answer that mine did, which is, oh, well, just use more lube. Or they will actually say, oh, no, you can't go on hormones because there's a study that says that hormone replacement therapy causes cancer, not knowing and having the most up-to-date information that study has been completely debunked. You're going to fight an uphill battle here. And because of the vast misinformation of how to properly treat these symptoms of premenopause and menopause, there's now companies like Winona, and I'm going to put this link in the bio for you, will actually do a mail order, have telemed, and get these women the help that they need. I'm on hormone therapy. I'm on estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. I'm at the lightest weight I've ever been. I have plenty of energy. I don't have hot flashes. I don't have any of that stuff. And even just the ability to sleep well has been an amazing thing. So I speak from personal experience when I say that hormone therapy can be revolutionary, not only to how you feel, your energy, everything has to do with it, but also your sex drive. My husband keeps up, but barely. And make sure that you are subscribed because I don't want you to miss the next episode as we continue down this path of sexual desire. We'll see you next time.